It's another edition of Checking In with Hein and Johnny, where the hosts bring in mystery topics that neither host knows anything about until the mics go hot and on the air. We are the show that keeps the host from talking about the weather and World War II 24 hours a day. Hey, Heine, man, what's on your mind?
It's just a new day. I get to work on the house. Living the dream, the American dream, Johnny. How about you?
Did a little garden. Do you plant any flowers or cucumbers or anything at your house for spring?
No, I'm just, moseying around the yard and pick up the dog dude and hope that it's hard.
Yeah, the weekly maintenance.
Daily.
Oh, yeah. You got two dogs. Yeah, we had a French Mastiff that caused it so that you really needed to clean up every day. Sort of the large deposits at the bank, if you
don't want to set up for a harsh slip and fall.
Oh, yes. Like you say, if they're not dry and you have a Mastiff, it is a thing you never forget when you step in it.
That is one of the things that I remember from before I was 4. You have these memories of childhood, of early childhood, and I want this one to be recorded right now. Is our house had a slight hill to it in the front yard, and I was wearing my blue little bib corduroy overalls, and I was heading down the hill, and I hit one of these landmines, and being a small child was short, and it just striped up my leg and up my back. And there I was, and somebody cleaned me up. I don't remember that. I just remember the act of like, woohoo, slipping in the fudge.
And then having to, on the little later when you get a little older, you scrape your shoe on the curb and then turn it sideways and then snap it a couple of times hard. Yeah,
I think the Stones wrote about that.
Did they?
There's a song about it.
It is Sweet Virginia.
Sweet Virginia
off Exile and Main Street.
Yeah, it's a great hit. I heard that song and just said, oh, this song is best.
This is a real life song. This isn't a rock star song.
Mm-hmm.
You're sharp today. It's springtime. Are you getting any spring snow that you've had to shovel this week?
It's, of course.
Man.
It's not snowing at this second.
Man.
Did it snow yesterday? Yeah, it sure looked like it was snowing yesterday. But not much. It's getting hard to accumulate, but heck, I bet I should go shine up my skis and get out of here. Just
one last hurrah.
Oh, there'd be, could probably do it all week.
Nice. I like that.
How about in Sweet Virginia?
In Sweet Virginia, I planted beets yesterday. So we went through and ground up some dirt and put the beet seeds down. Hopefully the birds will not come and eat them all before they germinate in 2 weeks. I will let you know how the beets go.
Please do. That is a very a nod to your homeland.
Yeah. We love eating beets, and they're so expensive. One jar of beets is like $8. So it's like ridiculously expensive. So I tried to grow them when I can, get at least one batch. It takes 3 months to grow one $8 jar of beets. I understand why they're expensive.
Well,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, they're. How do you prepare these beets once you've dug that baby out of the soil?
You can mash them, you can stew them, you can boil them, you can beets. You can pretty much do anything. We barbecue them and fry them. They are pretty tasty pickled. They're killer pickled. Oof.
That's how they typically are prepared.
Yeah. Yeah, but just plain old boiled and put in a salad, sliced up, man, they are pretty tasty. They were one thing that I despised, Brussels sprouts and beets when I was little, but boy, as an adult, man, it's it's right up there for me. They're the asparagus and beets are probably the tastiest adult vegetables I can think of.
I did, I've eaten my share of Mexican combo platters, and I had never, I've had a lot of things, and it took coming to Utah and going to the El Chihuahua on Highland Drive before I had my first burrito platter with a side of beets.
Nice. Utah throws in the beets.
It's like, hmm, beets, this is new. It was
Completely.
delicious. I enjoyed it with its own little Utah signature. I don't know if the chef is laughing about that or not.
He
It
should
just
be
says,
because
don't they all come with beets?
they're that's not an authentic Mexican dish. I think, from what I hear, the pre-Christopher Columbus South American foods did not look like the food we have in Mexican restaurants. So I believe there's a chance that most of the Mexican food that we eat is it's not really authentic, Mexican food from back in the day. It may have like everything else in North America. It's a bit homogenized.
Uh, do you grow, right the next row over from the beets should really be, do you do the radishes?
I have grown radishes. Yeah, they grow great, but for me, a radish I can't eat. I mean, my, I can eat a couple of radishes in a day, and that's enough. That's plenty for me.
What's your daily intake of beets?
That is true. Well played, sir. Well played.
Radishes are the Mexican, if you go to Mexico, radishes are just what's alongside your taco platter.
Oh,
And they're
really?
great. I like that. It's like, oh yeah, give me this. Don't eat enough radishes. That's something that we used to grow when I was a kid. Now we don't grow, can't even grow our own weed.
You and Chris do not do any little pot of tomatoes or anything, huh?
We don't grow our own chives. We'll be chastised at the store when we're buying chives. They're like, what are you, an idiot? You grow those. Those grow like weeds. And you just put them in a pot, and here you are paying $8.79 so that you can sprinkle these on your potato.
I do not agree with that nasty clerk because you can grow literally anything.
Our, one thing we celebrate around here every spring is when the new baby rats are born. And right
Parade?
outside our kitchen window is where they appear. And they
Oh,
are cute little devils. They're playing out there, uh, consuming the bird feeder.
oh yeah,
So they're plump, fat, healthy little rats.
yeah.
And those combined with other rodents that frequent our neighborhood, being squirrels and rabbits, tend to keep the gardening down.
Minimum. Yes.
Occasionally the hounds will drag home a rat, but they're just not. I'm wondering, do I need a cat? Do I need a pet owl? Like Hedwig out there chomping down these rats?
Yeah, I think owls will clean up the rat problem, but then you got an owl. Then you got, I don't know how friendly Hedwig was.
It's always one mystery to the movie. It was like, how did Hedwig and Scabbers get along?
Yeah, Scabber's kind of an evil pet, and who in the heck gets a rat for their kid?
But in the wizard world, aren't you just like assigned your secret animal, and if
I
you're an
think you
ugly enough
buy.
juniper, they give you a rat?
I thought they bought him on Diagon Alley, and they got him a rat. And the rat ended up being a bad guy. Oh, spoiler alert for those of you who have not read the books yet.
Well, they probably was on sale.
Yes, that guessing from all the taunting that the poor Weasley family got, that must have been a sale rat because it was missing a toe. Ugh.
Also, why they drove a Ford Anglia.
What that was the most awesome part is the car. I did love all the plot points with the car. Man, thought it was hilarious. Speaking of cars that can fly, how fast have you driven in your life? What's the maximum speed you've driven, Henry?
In what? You know what? One day I was driving not that fast. I've never had anything that fast. But one day I was coming down I-40 through to Harris Canyon, and a guy in an XJS Jag blasted by me, and I was feeling particularly
Saucy?
saucy that morning, and took the Dodge Neon up to about 110 on his butt, and that was, and then I decided, maybe this isn't too wise.
Yeah.
But that's about now. Yeah, that's about it. I haven't. You can buy a car now, and your Voyager minivan will go 130, or your Cayenne will go 160 while you're heading out to go deer hunting.
Yeah, your American purchased non customized for the Autobahn will go pretty quick. You've never topped out over 110 though.
I don't think so. How about you?
Same thing for me. Yeah, same thing for me. I just had I never went crazy. I'll probably at some point I'm gonna go out to that Riverside, close to Richmond, Virginia. I'm gonna try out a Ferrari and just take it for 3 or 4 laps. Allison will allow me to do that, so I'm gonna do that. See how fast I can. There must be some raceway about an hour and a half away from me, and they.
You have one of the great tracks out there that I've never been to is Virginia International Raceway, VIR.
Maybe that's what it is.
And
yeah,
they had a rally school there that is like, boy, that'd be kind of fun. I should probably do more of those experiences.
I think I'm gonna do one. Yeah, they let you drive you can choose between the Ferrari or the Lamborghini, whichever one sparks your interest. So I think I'm going to do that. They make you buy the insurance in case you crash it, and then
don't crash it.
I'm going to try not to crash it.
Yeah, don't crash it.
But I'm going to do that in the next 6 months or so. It should be fun. Take it for 3 or 4 laps and see how it is. I'll have to I'll have to warm my knees up in order to get into it
Yeah.
because those are some low riding vehicles.
Yeah, I'm folding myself up into these things all the time. We went to a fun one. They had a race at Texas International Speedway. I think that's what it is. The one outside of that's in the Dallas area. And they had a vintage race there. And the cool thing about that track is it didn't have much of a road course, but you ran both ends of the super speedway and then the straight, and then one straight was cut out and you dipped into the infield and then back out. And that we went because we could do it. It's one of those tracks that has the 27-degree banking.
Sweet.
And so you end up going flat out in our little cars all the way around, and I figure that's probably as fast as I've gone in one of my little cars, which is about, if I lie for the TV, we might have gone 109.
Nice.
109, but that's on the banking. And after a while, it takes a minute to get used to it.
Oh yeah, I would think.
Going that fast on the, it's like, man, we're really smoking. And then they did a bunch of things to keep you low down, away from the wall. And somebody said, oh, if you spin out and you're not going like 130, you go down towards the infield. You don't go flying up into the wall. I don't know if that's true, but because there were some people who were pushing it. But that was fun, and probably they had the race twice, and we went once. It was in December, which is usually a forbidden month for motorsports.
Yeah, because weather, right?
We're Christmas shopping. It's like, you can't go racing. You got to be Christmas shopping.
Not allowed.
But that was a fun one and thrilling. So it's I think there's a lot of it that it's like, yeah, we were going. You're not going that fast, but how fast are you going around that corner? I mean, there's some thrills to be had when you're going around a corner at 90 and you have your little GPS. You can take, if you there are phone apps where when you're in your Ferrari, you can just set up the phone app, put it in your pocket, and it will give you the telemetry of how you did going around that track.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you should do that because you just have it in your pocket, and then when you get home, you can sit there and go, wow, I was going this speed in that corner.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
I guess this new Rolls-Royce Red Badge Spectre, I guess this new massive, incredible electric car, I guess it can go 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. That seems fast. It seems like you'd need new tires really quick if you did that.
And probably if you put it on auto drive, you could be in the back seat throwing up while it does that.
Getting the bejesus scared out of you because that is super fast. That's got to be G-force. That's kind of cool. These electric cars are insane. And I guess the electric cars are a huge boon for the tire companies because I guess they just tear up the tires because of that quick acceleration is not the same with our fossil fuel, cars. They're not as rough on the tire. It's an interesting physics thing. I wouldn't have guessed that. Would you have?
Well, yeah, they're heavy. They've got all this weight. They're not light.
Yeah, all battery,
right?
right?
And then if you're driving it that way, the funny thing about me about Teslas, I'm just they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Around here, everybody has a Tesla, and now that they've, that Elon's with Trump, they got all the Democrats to buy Teslas, and now Elon's getting all the Republicans to buy them. And
The
so
Democrats are spray painting the dealerships now.
yes,
Oh, wow.
Customized
front windows.
So I get there's a light where I always wind up looking over at some dude in a pet Tesla. And I don't care what I'm in. If I'm in my old Land Rover and I look over, they never drive them fast. So I smoke them every time. There's this light, you have to get out there. And if you're slow, you have to be behind my Land Rover. And I laugh every time I beat a Tesla across the intersection. Just because people who buy them, they buy them because they're going to turn down the temperature of the planet that much. And not because they're fast.
No, they are fast. They just don't drive them fast.
Yeah. Yes, that's a car that's very low on my list. But I don't appreciate. Everybody says, "Oh, Henry, you're a car guy. What's your favorite car right now?" And I'll say, "Well, a 1967 Ferrari 250 LM. That's well, they haven't made those. No, they haven't.
No,
that's when it all died. When the cafeteria standards came out, my interest in cars went poo-poo.
That's where
the government got involved.
The whole world went downhill that year. Stinking government pushing us around. Big brother.
Wear your seat belts. Don't forget your airbag.
Save a life. Keep your kids
I don't understand, with all the safety items that are on cars, how are motorcycles still allowed on the road?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They are. It's just an absolute death trap. Even if you're the best driver in the world, you will still get hit and lay that motorcycle down 2 or 3 times in your life. If you drive them regularly, that motorcycle's going on the road. It's falling sideways.
I hear you.
They're mathematical certainty.
Yep, I do not get on bikes.
Yeah, I've only had them for just a short period of time, and I laid mine down twice because you just hit. You're making a teeny tiny little turn on a left turn, and somebody has oil, and you just whoop, the back tire just goes out, and suddenly you have hacked up your arm and your leg. Yeah, on your way to work.
What motorcycle did you have?
I had a tiny Kawasaki. Yeah, a tiny one to ride to work for Castleton's. And then it was one of those. Yeah, and we had two of them burned down in the Cathedral City, Palm Springs garage fire that we've spoken of so 2 of them got burnt up. So that was it for me. Other than that, but I crashed twice, only having them for 2 years. So they're a death trap. But
it's a suicide rap.
Yeah. Speaking of indulgent and stupid things to buy, I guess Rolex has a limited supply of these ultra coveted watches that they create. They make 3 of them. So the only people that can get them are like Leonardo DiCaprio and Michael Jordan and Federer. These guys are probably the people who advertised, Tiger. So they're $51,000 a piece, but you can't buy it. That wouldn't matter if they were $10. You can only 3 people get them. Have you ever bought any fancy watches, or has that been your gig in your life?
Sorry to disappoint.
No?
I'm usually the guy at the. I mean, I am just not that person.
Yeah.
Um, I appreciate the finer things in life, and usually I eat them.
Yeah. That
A
I kind of feel that way.
$51,000 panini is something that I would probably eat. I would buy that.
That crepe looks incredible. How much is it? That's that's after my own heart too.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I've never. Watches are. I own watches. But my watch is the one with the chewed up watch band, and at parties I have to like slip it up on my wrist so that nobody recognizes that I have a $10 watch on that's counting my heartbeat. My neighbor 2 doors up.
Loves watches.
No, he just scored the new Aston Martin.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. It's like look at this slick little ride coming down my street. And then it was kind of parked up there. I don't know what he was doing, waiting or something. And so it rolls by, and I of course give him the big thumbs up. I would
Heck,
probably I would blow my $51,000. Would that get you the new? It wouldn't get you the new Aston Martin, but it'd go a long way towards it.
yeah.
So I would do that. I don't know if what I'd spend. I would frankly probably buy put it into real estate.
You can't the temptation is a good solid bit of dirt. Nothing works better as an investment than land. Nice. I
Good
mean
place to
I
plant your beets.
yep, place to plant your beets. Yeah. I don't think pricey watches would ever be that's a big thing. That's a He-Man club type of thing. Dudes like humongous watches. But do you eat things like the McDonald's snack wrap and the McRib when it comes in and out of popularity?
No.
You're not a big synthetic fast food fan, huh?
Oh, I'm over it. I like to eat places with words like Cecilia and
Mm.
Antica. So as you as I know you are, I am also a big fan of cheeses, exotic cheeses, sausages, buttery gnocchis, and
Love them.
lasagnas and raviolis.
Yeah. We
Uh,
went
butternut squash ravioli really makes my motor go. Lobster raviolis. Uh,
delicious.
mhm.
Makes
Yeah,
my
it's
mouth
like
water.
I'm going to go get a McRib. Are you kidding me? I really don't. I am not. Well, I mean, really good barbecue. I'm good with.
Yeah.
If it's really good. If it is garden variety barbecue,
No thanks.
yeah.
Too much work getting it out of my steak tooth later. It's not worth the digging. Not worth it.
So that's where I am. How about you, McRibbing? Are you hitting the arches much?
No, well, when the kids were little, that's the only, I mean, I have to admit, when our kids were very, very little, they could say the words Diet Coke and McDonald's before they could say mama and dada. So yeah, that's all. I mean, unfortunately, that's basically when you have little kids, you're just lazy as all get out. So
I was always
faster.
struggling to get them to say "Pout de Rhone."
They don't. We were never good enough to be able to get our kids to do that.
Sit for Camembert.
Oh man, I do love me some cheeses, Henry. You are not wrong. Hey, one culinary experience that I have not got on board with is these life-saving, they say they're saving the turtles. They tell me they're saving the turtle, is paper straws. Tell me your take on these paper straws.
Usually about the third Diet Coke, they start to unravel a little bit. And then I realized
Yeah.
this one is safe to run down and throw in the river. Otherwise, it's going to be ending up in some turtle's eye.
Have you, when you've been diving, have you ever seen like the 6-pack wrap around a turtle, or the plastic that's so famously killing all of our children and fish?
No,
Have you ever seen that?
I haven't, no, but I haven't been diving you know, in the Mekong Delta or at the outlet of the Yangtze River. They say
Oh,
that
yeah.
90%, there's the big island of plastic out in the ocean the size of France.
Yeah.
And then it was, the article I read said 90% of the world's trash in the ocean comes from 10 rivers, 2 in Africa, and the rest in Asia.
Yeah.
So I think if you throw a straw in the Rio Grande River, it never makes it to the ocean. I think didn't we cover this once?
No, we never spoke of straws and how they maneuver to the ocean.
Yeah, that's, there are a lot of places, and there are, we sell conveyors, conveyors and equipment, sell conveyors that are pulling the uh, debris out of the Rio Grande River, off the bar screens. They have these because if there are so many weeds and twigs and straws and paper cups in the river, they plug up the river, and the river backs up and flows into your yard. So the storm control people are pulling a lot of that stuff out before it makes it there.
Nice.
Well, yeah, and they get wallets and human hands and things like that. But uh,
Tell
I
what? So
I
so
don't think that I don't know how
that's
much of that stuff.
awesome.
I mean, it's I'm not saying okay. Ever since probably about 1970, I learned that garbage goes in the trash can. I don't just throw it out at, a bag of garbage at the nearest Native American that rides up to the side of the road on his horse.
Very naughty. Makes them cry.
You remember that ad?
Oh, totally. It was so sad.
It's like, really? They never show the other end of that ad. Like, hey, Buford, see that Indian over there on his horse? Let's see if I can nail him with this bag of garbage.
Make him very sad.
It's like, really?
What's the worst thing that I can do to that Native American?
Just hit him with this bag of trash.
The saddest.
Anyway.
That was one of the sad original commercials. Now it's the Sarah McLachlan commercial where it's these starving puppies. And she's saying, oh, it's so sad. You are an ass for not taking these puppies. I'm just like, I need to adopt a dog.
They, they always, when they're buying my dog food, it says, would you like to donate $1 to homeless pets? And I always look at the bag of dog food and say, I'm just donating like $50 to homeless pets.
My
I've got 2
stupid
homeless
dogs.
pets at home. Do I need to just bring home another one to get you guys off my back?
And I'll tell you, the one sad thing about doing, like, if you ever accidentally write a check to one of the charities, they sell that name instantaneously to 8,000 other charities. So you get bombarded. If you like buy the Easter Seals return address thing one time, man, that's it. You are it. Target on your back. Oh well. Well,
Yep.
speaking of
Every thief
plastic,
goes unpunished.
yes. The
Speaking of
the
plastics, what?
well, they say that all the plastic I like you have never seen any turtles with the six-pack thing around their face or nothing like that. But they say that all the men, all the millennials have low sperm count because of the plastics. Whole bunch of plastics jammed in the scrotum, I guess.
I think
Yes.
I disagree, Johnny. I think I think those men have low sperm count because they're shopping in the wrong swimsuit department at Target.
Yeah.
Just saying.
They're smuggling grapes rather than letting things fly. En natural. I yeah, it's probably some lifestyle things. I'm not sure that well, we're going to find out. You we're all going to end up with plastic in our eyeballs and in every other.
Autism is, they're saying now that all the children are born autistic.
Because, do you think it's the plastics
I don't remember that article, what we were
being the
doing
problem?
to ourselves that was making us all autistic. But
All these medical things, there is a new in my mind, a modern day snake oil that is called canna from South Africa. It is it's a non-FDA approved item that is supposed to cure everything: impotence, sleeplessness, your dumb kids spelling bee. It's supposed to cure everything. But it seems like it's just another one of these herbal remedies that some dude's been using for 8 million years, and now it's just hip again. So
they need a bottling line for that.
man, I think they probably need. I was I am very proud of you for doing magnets, keeping the metal out of our cereal. That was kind of a cool topic you mentioned the other day. Keeping all the shrapnel out of my Wheaties. I think that is very benevolent of you.
I do what I can.
And now, this week, I find out you're helping keep the straws out of my Rio Grande.
I don't know about that. Well, I don't personally throw them in
Yes, you
there.
do.
It's I don't it's amazing how the world responds to a perceived problem like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the videos I'm watching, they're always cutting the turtles out of the fishing nets that are drifting
Oh,
out
yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I would
big.
say that's a bigger problem.
Yeah, the fishing nets and the fishing line. It's quite a challenge. That's plastics that gets in the wrong spots.
Have you gone diving in the Caribbean and seen the invasive lionfish yet?
When I dove there wasn't a ton of them, but for sure they were there. But now I guess we got to eat them because I guess they're just everywhere.
Yes, they're tasty if you but handle them with gloves. I saw there's a cruise commercial that I saw, and they're bringing out the big dish to the guests, and it was a
The
lionfish.
lionfish.
It's like, oh,
Good way to
so
use it.
yeah, it's a lionfish with a side of Burmese python.
Florida fresh Burmese python. I love it. I love that.
We're going to Florida on Wednesday, and
Oh man,
I'm
that's
going
going
to
to be
dive. I've signed up for a dive, and hopefully they can hoist my ass out of the water back into the boat. And then I think we're going to go out on one of these touristy airboats to the Everglades if they're not on fire.
Nice. Have you ever been on the airboat yet?
No, I've never, it was something that Marlon Perkins used to do, and I was like, okay, I want to go do that. Since I
Marlon,
was a kid. Just like the spiny lionfish uses its deadly spines to protect itself from danger, so the Mutual of Omaha protects you in times of need.
that was my youth, man. That was like was it Saturdays? I watched that all the time.
It was all that was on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a Saturday afternoon thing, and man, that's wild America. I loved it. Well, we took the airboat and we loved it because they'll stop at one spot where the alligators know they're coming, and the alligators are all just get all ready, and they throw out big chickens, and they go nuts. And they go to each spot where the wildlife kind of knows the airboat's coming at exactly 2:00. We had a ball doing it. Yeah, it was fun. The one thing is it's super loud. It's like being on top of the engine of a Ferrari because it's, incredibly loud. So there's no chit chat while you're driving. The speed of the wind and the engine is overwhelming, but it sure is fun. We loved it. And any chance you could get some photos so that we can enjoy the experience of Florida? We need that for our pod.
I need to, like my photos all keep disappearing off my computer. I think I have a portable hard drive here that has some of them. I'll have to dig into that. Yeah.
We love that stuff. I am glad you're going down there. It'll be perfect weather. It is not hurricane season, and it is delightful because we were down there for spring training, and man, the weather is just right. Makes you want to move there in 3 months. Not so much. Palm Springs.
We fortunately have relatives with that are maintaining all of the properties in exotic spots. I think April, March, April in Utah, April's kind of is the time to get out of town.
Yeah.
Because it'll probably be snowing here. I'll be hoping that it's not snowing, but it will be. And so adios, goodbye, go someplace warm.
Miserable. Yeah, miserable time because it should be warm and it's not. Still a few snow flurries. It's cold. Florida is going to be great. It is going to be sunshine and 85. I mean, it's
forward to it.
Yeah. Well, with that, we say goodbye, Heine. You have a fantastic week, my friend. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Checking In with Hein and Johnny. You can follow all things Hein and Johnny by subscribing to Checking In with Hein and Johnny anywhere you listen to podcasts. Checking In with Heine and Johnny is sponsored by Conveyors and Equipment. They supply, design, and service all types of conveyors, belting, and material handling equipment since 1972. With 3 locations to serve you, Salt Lake City, Albuquerque, and El Paso. Find them on the web at conveyequip.com. That's CONVEYEQUIP.
Funny is good.